Hey there, it's Red. So today I want to talk about how I don't like to read all the time. And of course, I love books. I have a booktube channel. I started this channel because I loved books so much that I needed an outlet for my love of books. So obviously, I do love reading, and that's not an entirely true statement, but it's true to the extent that sometimes I don't feel like reading. Does that make me a bad booktuber or a bad reader? No, it just means that it's okay to not feel like doing that, or to have interest in other things, or to want to spend your free time in other ways, and there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of times I feel like we attribute not being in the mood to read as being part of a reading slump. Now, I definitely go through reading slumps, and how I personally define a reading slump is this desire to read, but feeling like I can't get into anything. I pick up several books and I'm just struggling to get into the books, but I really do feel like reading. I want to read, I have this desire to read, but cannot seem to get a book to fulfill that need. That is what I personally define as a reading slump. But sometimes it's not that I have a desire to read, it's the exact opposite. It's that I don't feel like reading. Sometimes I want to relax in a different way. Sometimes I'm too tired to read, and the idea of reading feels exhausting to me. So I end up not enjoying the activity because I'm doing it for a reason like I feel like I should, and not for myself. And reading is something that I love, and it's something that I should do for myself. And so if I'm doing it for a reason other than that, then I'm sort of cheapening my experience as a reader. There are going to be days where I want to watch Netflix. Plain and simple, I'm going to want to watch movies or TV or Netflix. Doesn't mean that I like reading any less because I've chosen to do this instead of read. No. And to read when it's not really what I want to be doing does me no good. It's not making me happy by not doing what I feel like doing in that moment. And the thing about being a reader is that it's never going to stay like that for long. I inherently want to read books. I know that I'm not going to lose my personal label as a reader because I chose to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer one night instead of picking up, I don't know, City of Bones. It doesn't make me less of a reader because I chose to change my activity one night. Because as a reader and as somebody who inherently loves to read, I know that the very next night I could easily have this drive to read again, and I feel like it's healthy for me to take a step back from reading so that I can almost let that love of reading and that need to read sort of recharge, so I don't burn myself out on something that I'm passionate about and something that I care about. Again, it doesn't make me less of a booktuber, it doesn't make me less of a reader, it just means that I have other interests sometimes, and it's okay to not have just one interest and focus all of my attention on that one interest all the time. I love painting. Sometimes I'm going to feel like painting instead of reading a book. Sometimes I'm going to feel like going and hanging out with my friends instead of reading. Although a lot of the times it's the opposite, where I'm just like, do I really want to go out and put on pants, or can I just stay in bed with my book? And the thing about being a reader is that, again, it's not going to stay that way. Just because I want to do these things for a couple of days, or sometimes it lasts longer than that, sometimes shorter than that, at the end of the day, eventually I'm going to go back to wanting to pick up a book. Just the way it is. I will always want to go back and pick up a book. But it's okay to take a break until you feel that way. All I'm saying is if you don't feel like reading, there's no reason to beat yourself up over it. You're still a reader. You still love books and you still love reading. And it's okay if you don't want to do it every second of the day. It's all right. It's okay to have other interests. It's okay to make time for other things because, I mean, we should be doing what makes us happy. And I personally don't want to ever push myself into a position where reading doesn't make me happy. And I have felt guilty for not wanting to read in the past. I felt guilty for going through patches of time where I just genuinely didn't feel like reading. And I felt like I was less of a reader somehow, and it was a terrible, terrible feeling, and I was beating myself up for no reason. And I realized that I can't be the only one that goes through this, that has these feelings. So I thought that I would just make this quick video kind of talking about my thoughts on this, my experience with this, and how I've come to resolve this problem in my mind and create this balance so that when I'm not reading because I don't feel like reading, I'm okay, and mentally I don't beat myself up over it anymore. And I acknowledge that I still love my books and I still love to read. But sometimes it's okay to take a break from the things that we love. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this matter. Have you gone through this before? How have you dealt with this? Did you just sort of accept the fact that sometimes you don't feel like reading, or were you like me and would just kind of feel guilty or beat yourself up over it? I know, especially as a booktuber, sometimes there's a little bit of pressure, like oftentimes self-inflicted pressure, that we place on ourselves to be reading so often. And I just want to see if any of you guys can relate to these feelings. I guess that's it. I will have more videos up soon, and I'll talk to you guys later.